Hello friends, it's Nancy from Astrology and Angel Mediums today with another deck review. Today I will be talking about the Empathic Oracle by Steve Wilson and Michelle Matusas. This is an oracle deck that was published by probably Red Wool Wiser, I'm looking, yeah, Red Feather, so Schiffer Publishing actually. So it's a little bit different from other decks that you may have seen that I talk about on here. This is a deck I've had for many years. I think it has beautiful artwork. They also have another one. It's like the Shamanic Healing Oracle, I believe, which I think is also a really beautiful deck. I've never purchased it for myself, but it is another one that you may have seen online. And so it's a pretty standard card deck, some nice little gilding. Mine's a little flaky because it is a little bit older. Nice little box that has these little ribbons on it to kind of keep it closed. I'm not sure if it's a magnetic or if it might be magnetic because it feels like there's something right here. So it may have that little magnet to keep the box closed. So I think that this was, okay, so it's 56 cards. I thought it was 44. So 56 cards in this deck to kind of help you, especially if you are someone that connects to the word empath. I know over the years there's been like a more negative connotation associated with that word, but are highly sensitive, that sort of thing. I think a lot of the lessons and themes that come up in this deck are really beneficial, especially as someone that maybe is like starting off on their empathetic journey or trying to kind of understand what's going on with them. And I think the artwork is really unique and different. So that is one of the reasons why I ended up getting this deck initially. So it does have a really nice guidebook. So yeah, I was like, it says Red Feather. So there's a lot of information within this guidebook, which is really nice, especially if you're someone that maybe is like starting off, trying to kind of understand how to connect. This book has a lot of really beneficial information for someone that maybe is like starting off and trying to learn. You know, there's suggestions on how to cut cords, how to ground, how to like, connect. It's just really helpful. That it doesn't just like dive into the cards. There's meditations in here, how to kind of, use this, what it means to use these cards, how to do a reading. And then we jump right into the card meanings. So, I mean, that's pretty much a pretty nice little chunk of the guidebook to help you understand. So full color inside of the guidebook, which is nice. And it is kind of this more like, plasticky kind of feeling. I don't know. It's like, it's not like paper. I mean, it is paper, but it doesn't feel like a paper guidebook because it has almost like a finish on it, which is nice. And so it's a little bit smoother. It's nice. And so it does have a lot of information. It kind of talks about what the card means, the colors, excuse me, as well as some information. And then there's some really nice questions that kind of come at the end of each of the card meanings so that you can kind of take this off book and perhaps use this as like a journaling exercise or something along those lines. So the first few cards are going to be the tools, which are going to be like the chakras, and then the elements, and then manifestation, shielding, focus, clearing, phases. So then we move to the external. So the like moon phases are our actual phases as humans, mountains. So this is more like nature stuff. And then also like the seasons, things like that, because it's talking about these external influences to kind of work with and keep in mind, as well as, just how can we connect to these energies a little bit more. Then we have direction, holiday. predators, heroes, and then we have like crowd surfing, the desert. So it really does talk about a lot of different themes. And then we have internal things. So here we have, is balance internal? Yeah, so balance is internal. I don't know. So entanglement, that word. And then we also have containers, stardust, purity. So these are all. So we have internal, past, present, future, authenticity, open heart, light at the end of the tunnel. All right. So we moved into internal from the external. We have resistance, surrender, timeline, pedestal, non-duality, chameleon, validation. So it really does allow you to connect to a lot of really significant themes just in life in general. And so I find that it's a really wonderful tool to have as a healer and as someone that does this kind of work. So I'm going to show you guys the cards. I know you could kind of see them a little bit in the guidebook. So the cardstock is nice. It doesn't have a super shiny finish. They almost feel a little bit more like a eggshell kind of finish. They're all hand drawn, which is really nice, especially if you're someone that likes art. I do like how the art is very, like, you can tell a person made it, if that makes sense. It's not super perfect. So I do really like that. It feels very like, not like childlike wonder, but almost like something that's very approachable to use with anybody. So here we have crowd surfing, spring, really beautiful themes as well. And I find that it reads really well for connecting, especially if you've been feeling a little bit disconnected or disjointed in your practice. It's a nice deck to kind of reconnect to some of those lessons or kind of pay attention to like what's going on. Validation, air, your story, light at the end of the tunnel. It reminds me of like, especially like these, where it reminds me of like black paper and then like drawing on black paper. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. So there's entanglement, manifestation, shielding, clearing, the mountains, very pointy mountains, specialness, past, earth, summer. Now, the reason why I have enjoyed using this deck over the last few years is, again, like I said, it's great for journaling. It's great for that reconnection. I think it's a very nice reflective tool to utilize, especially if you are someone that maybe struggles to kind of understand what you should be focusing on or where to kind of like redirect your own personal energy. It is nice to have something that can kind of point you in the right direction or kind of give you a starting point. So there we have balance, we have the throat chakra, here we have focus, hero, we have holiday, non-duality, resistance, solar plexus, sacral chakra, the future. We have authenticity, chameleon. So a lot of these are main themes that a lot of us may deal with in our lives. So it is nice to have, again, something that maybe you don't always have to lean into the guidebook, especially if it's like common themes, common threads, like archetypes, things of that nature. It can make it a little bit easier if you are someone that prefers to read a little bit more intuitively, or if you like to have maybe a simpler prompt to go off of. I love this desert card. I think it's beautiful. Gaslighting, stuck. And then I love this stardust card. Anything with trees and stars, like I'm like, sign me up. Fire, chaos, and then root chakra. So I think that it is a lovely deck for personal development, especially if you are someone that maybe is trying to find other ways to connect, or maybe have some things to maybe focus on. I used to do not so much a daily card draw with this, but I would maybe do a like 3-card kind of spread. So I'll just do like a little sample here of what I would do. So here we have crowd surfing. And then focus. All right. I get it. I get it. And finally, I have my story. That is funny. So I would either use these as a means of connecting to what I think is kind of happening here. Try to make it look straight. Connect to either whatever's kind of going on with these. So I'm going to just kind of look and see what we have going on here. So we have focus, or sorry, crowd surfing. So experiencing the energy of being with one person can be very challenging. In and of itself, for an empath, being around several people may manifest a myriad of energies that become even more overwhelming. It's true. I'm not a fan of crowds. I do tend to struggle a little bit. And now that I'm doing more like one-on-one sort of work in people's homes, it's a little bit even more so that I feel much more sensitive when I'm out and about. So this has really nice information that we can focus on here. This is like what I would want to focus on the most is, do I feel safe to venture out into the world and experience all that it has to offer, free from absorbing all the divergent energies of the crowd or outside energies and my experience of them coloring my view of this situation? Would I benefit from grounding and focusing my energy, because then we have focus, so I can navigate this in the highest possible way? So again, as someone that is extremely introverted, a little bit of a hermit, a little bit of a stay in my own lane, stay in my own house, and I've even stated, like, I haven't really had a lot of time to hang out with other people at the current moment. I haven't really been in a super social kind of mood, but I have been missing certain connections and certain relationships and friendships, and having an opportunity to kind of hang out with like-minded souls. So focus is, my goals are before me. So it's like telling you, like, focus is a wonderful tool, and using it in manifestation can be very beneficial. But then we also have these questions, are my thoughts scattered, making it difficult to choose? Have outside influences hijacked my ability to be present? If I focus more on what the crux of the situation needs, would my perception of where this is going change, or would the end still be relevant? So it's nice to have these questions to kind of focus on. And then when we add in, these issues with the crowd surfing and trying to kind of be more aware of like our own personal energy and not letting ourselves be distracted, it's almost reiterating like this energy of like, hey, we have to focus. And now finally with your story, which is what I think it sounds like, every page that I write of my experience will be one of wonder, and then the knowing that I wield the pen. So it is talking about our personal stories, whether it's good, bad, what is your lore, essentially. So the questions here are, have I become what others need me to be, losing myself in their neediness, or am I allowing myself to write new chapters in the discovery of who I am? Am I too afraid to jump off the page and continue on with my life and break free of this story? So we can see there's a theme here, right? It's I'm allowing other people's energy affect my focus and kind of derail me from my own story. So again, I always do these as like a little sample, and it ends up tattletelling on me. It's kind of rude, but I think it's a wonderful deck for personal development if you're into that sort of thing. Let me know if you guys have ever heard of this deck, and if it's a deck that you would use in your practice. Again, I use this more as like a personal tool for myself versus like readings for others. I think it's good. I have used it in readings for others, but I think that the real benefit is in being able to kind of sit with those questions and really allowing yourself to kind of have a little bit more conversation about that. So this is my deck review of the Empathic Oracle. I think it's a fantastic deck for personal development tools, especially if you're maybe tiptoeing into shadow work and maybe feel like it's a little bit overwhelming. This is a really great like bridge into that, because a lot of this is still kind of shadow work, but under the guise of empath work, if that makes sense. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please take care, stay safe, and as always, make good choices. Bye.